Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of OK Boomer. Today we have a topic that's closer to my domain, and I'd like to hear Alien, Chris, and Shankar talk about their thoughts on this topic today. So, the what we want to talk about today is who would you want to hire to work with you? Like, think of it more of if you are hiring for your team, if you are hiring for people around you, what would you optimize for? Who wants to go first? I should ask Shankar because he was the one who
Um,
hired me as his friend in his team. So go on.
Huh? Ask Shankar because that was not clear.
He only referred me, man.
Oh, okay. And I mean, obviously, some things vary based on roles, but I think what comes to my mind is one, clear communication, because day in and day out, you are working with others, and others should be able to understand what you are trying to convey, and you should be able to like understand quickly what others are communicating to you. So I think that's a very, very important skill. I think a lot of people can't, not a lot of people, most people can communicate well, but that's like a it's like the most basic green flag that I would look for in a hire. That's one. Two is general demonstration of curiosity. Has this person done interesting things in the past? uh, how enthusiastic do they feel about the role that they're joining for? Have they done their research? uh, I think general curiosity and good communication go a long way. I think those are fundamental traits, but after that there's like a couple of role specific traits that I would look for. Yeah, that's my perspective. Ashwin?
I think you just spoke what I was thinking, so I don't know what to add now. Uh, everybody knows for the role that you're being hired or interviewed, skill triumph, right? You should be good enough for you to do the job well. That's one major thing for sure. On top of that, when when you are sitting on the other side of interview table, right? When you're looking at people, looking at candidates, you tend to look for how hungry they are, right? To um, do what they want to do. Uh, so few things that you look for. I've done over like 100, interviews for Freshworks. A lot of times, what we look for is, hey, when you are passionate about something, how much or how far would you go to achieve what you want to achieve, right? Nothing in life is cakewalk. You will have hurdles, you will have challenges that come your way in anything that you do. Um, how much have you invested in solving for those? How did you do it? How nicely did you do it? Did you piss people off, or did you uh, like do it in a nice way? Like, when you talk about a lot of those, you would inherently figure out how the candidate is or how people are, their nature, what they think about. And then on the other side, you would always think about, hey, will I be able to work with this person? Will my colleagues get along with this person? You would start thinking of all those things in your head. So the main crux is beyond your skill and ability to do the job. How passionate would you be? How hungry will you be to solve challenges that come your way is like a big thing for me.
Take the question as people you want to work with rather than people who you would hire for. Um, I I think I
I
do
think both are
agree agree with what.
in some shape or form.
Yeah,
Again, hire
true,
here
true.
is used broadly. You don't have to actively
Yeah.
interview and hire them.
Mhm.
You can find them so that they can work with you, like how Shankar
Yeah.
found me.
Mm.
I think I also agree with what Alien and Shankar said, and like Alien said, you people now have covered a lot of what I had in mind. So if I have to take a slightly different approach to this answer, two traits that really stand out that I really appreciate, be it friends or colleagues that I work with. Number one is how passionate are they about something, and it doesn't really have to be about the work you do, but have they shown interest that they go out of their way if it's something that they like. So it could be through side projects like how we do, or they could be maintaining a blog or an Instagram page. It could be anything, right? So people who are passionate about things, that really comes through in conversations, and when you talk with people like that, it really energizes you. So that's a trait that I find very attractive when talking to people who have very specific interests. And the nerdier, the better for me personally, but it doesn't have to be. Somebody could be into running, and that's also very admirable, right? And number two would be, how selfless are they? So, be it people in this conversation, or say, if I have to randomly make a list of 10 people that I really look up to, I look forward to working with, if there is a common denominator among them, it's by nature they are very selfless, right? People who go out of their way to help somebody, and that really matters in a work environment, especially in big companies, because you might have the killer idea, but if people aren't collaborative, it might never see the light of day. So those two would be my
One thing I will add here is like I think all three of you were like if there's one point that resonated in all three of you, it was how passionate they are and how uh, how much conviction they have about whatever they are interested in, what their work is, all of that, right? So one of the like negative side effects of being very passionate is some people can be overly emotional and attached to their work, and it is very hard to work with such people when they are unable to uh, see beyond what they want, right? So it's very hard for people to convince others that they're working with, especially if it's a subjective call. Like there is always debate on aesthetics. There's always debate on all the aspects of work that need not have a scientific or a logical reasoning, right? Like it could be subjective, it could be based on what has happened before, it could be based on gut feel. So what I generally check for when I interview people is how grounded they are, how much are they able to understand and take a step back if they want to, and how much are they willing to compromise when it comes to conflicts. Not compromise with respect to quality, but it's more of a give or take mentality where if I want to do something and if my team member tells me not to for whatever reason, am I able to not do it and take it on face value of that other person, and then probably give my thoughts on something which they may not want to do.
Yeah, I agree with Body. So, can they separate their work from the emotions that come with it? You could pour your heart into something you're working on, but when it comes to reviewing the work and taking feedback, that's a very important trait that you're able to be critical of what you do without being attached to it.
Okay, so I was going to ask. I think there's a lag. I was going to ask, like, what are the traits you found really difficult to test for in interviews? Uh, right? uh, Body, do you want to go?
I'll probably take that. I think Ashwin has some different issues. uh, for me, it's always been, I mean, the one thing that I always want to interview and look for is how much of what they say they want to versus how much they will actually go do. Like a lot of people will say they want to do XYZ, but the want is disproportionate to the effort they'll put into it. So a lot of people, again, it's very easy to bluff through your resume. It is not very easy when you talk to them, right? So if they're able to talk about whatever they've put on the resume in detail, I think they'll be able to do a good job, like given that role. But if they put like high level stuff and use Chat GPT to just articulate whatever they've done, and if they are not able to relate to what is on the resume, that's a very dead giveaway of that. Even if you are hiring them for a role, they may not be prepared to put that effort, and like they're always going to take the shorter and the cutting corners route.
So, can I take this question as the red flag pretty much, right? So, what is something that you don't want? So, for me, one is too much of I when explaining something that they did as part of the previous experience, right? So I was, I think Ashwin is back. Yeah. I helped the company go from 5 million to 50 million, 500 million. I was at the center of things. I led as we crossed you know million views in our blog posts on content marketing, not acknowledging that it was a team effort and exaggerating their contribution to any given goal or a milestone that the company was after.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, there was some internet issues. What I was coming back to, see, I know we are talking a lot about traits, passion, and all. One big thing also to kind of understand as a person is always look for people who are better than you to work with. That will always level up your personal game as well. Like when either if you're hiring or if you're trying to work with someone, who do I work with? If someone is better than you, like in something that they're complimenting you with, or even the same thing that you're doing, do not miss that person. Right? You will always become better. Uh, at times, people have uh, a tendency to let their ego come with a front, and that's something you can consciously watch out for. Always hire, but like there is a saying, right? The great CEOs always hire people better than them to work with, and that's what makes a CEO a great CEO, right? Like if so the same thing kind of applies to every single level as you come down.
I
Keep
would
an eye out for it.
probably like modify it slightly, because like just saying better is very very arbitrary, right? Like you can't quantify a score and say a person is X and person Y is X plus one or whatever. So I would say hire for complementary skills. Like you may be good at ABC, they may be good at XYZ, right? Like don't hire someone who's only good at the same things you are. Like you would want to diversify the skills and diversify what you as a team can do. So hire for people who are better at things that you are not good at or you are not exposed to. Like, that would be a better uh, actionable thing to do, because it's very hard to judge who is better at something that you do when you've not worked with them.
Mm.
You're only talking to them like for like few hours at best.
So, Body, I know you've been in HR, you've done enough number of interviews, you've been part of enough number of hiring panels, right? What is your uh, like trend on the top 1 percentile, 2 percentile of the people you've hired? Like, is it something that like, I know you've been a HR, but there is a recruiting manager who is hiring for the role. Have you noticed anything when a candidate shines or like when they join and after 1 year, 2 years, they've become really successful? Is it because of the fit into the manager, the skill that we have hired? Is it something that you've noticed in interviews?
I think like one thing that has always distinguished people who are outliers are their, I would say it's high agency, right? Like they will figure out a way to get things done, right? Like the more you probe somebody about things they don't know, the person who is always ready to admit that they don't know, but also ready to take up a challenge and go find out how or what to get done. I think they have been the ones who've been pretty successful in their careers. Like it's a mixture
Mm.
of what Shankar said, right? Like that curiosity, it's a mixture of that passion and ownership, and a mixture of how how much are they willing to channel their energy into solving the problem as opposed to like boxing themselves into a job description and doing that work. Because
Okay. Okay.
there are very few people who will be able to like it's like you throw somebody who doesn't know how to swim in a swimming pool. Some of them will sink, some of them will swim. So it, what differentiates the swimmers are the ones who are willing to try and just uh, paddle themselves and like try to stay afloat. Like there are some people for whom this comes naturally and they're able to do it like pretty well.
How do you find that? Any
Talk
specific
for
examples from
sorry.
your past?
I mean, I generally talk to them about their experiences in situations where they're backed into a corner. Like, how have they been able to figure things out when they don't know what to do, or when like you put them in a spot, or like obviously life would have put them in a spot, right? Like if I'm talking to college students, like what in their college life have they, like what is their worst day? Like have they gotten expelled? Have they gotten like suspended? All of those, right? Like those kind of things, and how they manage to overcome that has always helped me understand how much are they willing to do, and what is their thought process. Like some people naturally just give up and not want to do anything, and for various reasons. Some people don't know that they can, or that they, they may be able to. Some people are afraid of failure. Some people are just not willing to take initiative beyond what is expected. So those are easy way to disqualify people, and it's easier to talk about people, or talk to people about what they have done, and that's usually a clear indicator of whether they will continue to do it if they are put or backed into corners.
Yeah.
What about you, Shankar? Have you had any specific interactions in the past?
Shankar is probably the most selective hiring manager I've hired for.
I have not hired so many people in the first place, so maybe your sample set is biased. But what is the question?
No, we were just curious about any specifics. I know all of us are talking the same like tangent of what we look for. Any
Yeah.
past experience specifics where you had, hey, this may like help me make sure that this candidate is the fit here, or this person will be the best fit.
So other than the two factors I said, I think in product marketers, I think a fair bit of creativity is necessary, because you need to come up with ideas. You need to seek out and take inspiration from good ideas, and be able to use that in your work, right? That's something that I look for with specific to product marketing. And also, I think someone who's a product marketer should be able to comfortably sit and write for hours together, or be able to like just do the job of rearranging sentences and editing their words. So I look for signs that tell me that they're capable of doing that. The closest sign is past examples of clean writing. So that's when it comes to product marketing specifically, creativity and clear writing skills. With respect to designers, I look for like rational. So I think I think the thing that differentiates a visual designer from a product designer is the fact that the product designer is able to rationalize why they made a decision, by putting themselves in the user's shoes, right? So those are some specific traits that I look for with respect to different roles. But yeah,
That's a nice way to conclude. We are keeping it short and crisp. But just to summarize, we discussed what are the qualities that attract you towards somebody when you're trying to hire them, when you're trying to work for them, as well as things that might be potential red flags, or what are qualities that it may not gel with our own personality. As people watch this episode and probably think on these lines, we hope that gives them more clarity on the kind of people that they want to work with, right? I think again, like Alien was saying at the start, one of the other cliched sayings, but something that really makes sense is you're the average of the five people that you spend your time with, and work being that where you spend the most time together with a group of people. We hope you consciously look out for these traits as well. Thank you so much for another fun rabbit hole of a discussion, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.